Alrighty. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Nicholas Franco, and I am a first-year medical student at the University of Washington. And I help coordinate this meeting with Dr. Chopra. Tonight is going to be a little bit different. We are going to start with kind of a special and meaningful gathering. Tonight we have the opportunity to recognize and celebrate someone who's had an extraordinary impact on ACP, internal medicine, and many individuals across the profession, Dr. Darilyn Moyer. Dr. Moyer is the Executive Vice President and CEO of the American College of Physicians. And so before we get into our talk with Dr. Lewis and Dr. Chopra about the clinical decision aid, we are going to have take some time to reflect on her leadership, mentorship, and kind of the lasting influence on physicians, trainees, educators, and patients across the country. So it's truly an honor to have Dr. Moyer with us this evening. And with that, I will pass it over to Dr. Chopra.
Thank you, Nick. I know Darilyn not only as a clinician, as an educator, as a leader, as a woman of substance, but I also know her as a mentor. So I think I have that unique honor to see that side as a mentor. Darilyn has been a huge voice in ACP. She has been a voice in internal medicine through her leadership. She's been a strong advocate for evidence-based medicine, physician well-being, and health equity. She's also played an important role in advancing medical education and strengthening ACP's influence in national healthcare policy and patient-centered care. I'm so very grateful to Darilyn for supporting our long COVID efforts and for the way she has consistently created space for important conversations around patient care in this area, physician well-being, education, and advocacy. What really stands out to me is her leadership at the national level, but also how personally present and accessible Darilyn always is. She has a very incredibly demanding role, but she always seems to find the time to respond to emails, to meet, to mentor, and to encourage. That responsiveness and generosity has meant a lot to me, and I know that it means a lot to so many of our other mentees and colleagues. As she approaches retirement, I wanted to invite her to our platform. I wanted this meeting and gathering to be a meaningful reflection of her journey, a celebration of her leadership and her many contributions to ACP. Thank you so much, Darilyn, for everything that you've done.
Well, thank you very much for that lovely introduction, and thank you for inviting me to the webinar. And, thank you for inviting me to be part of this and part of ACP. It really has been an honor of a lifetime to be part of this amazing group of people that I believe are really leading healthcare. And I've had the opportunity over the past 10 years to travel to many of our chapters and to go to a lot of other places where my travels have taken me. And I'm always amazed at how passionate our ACP members are, the incredible work that they're doing, whether they're students or trainees or early career physicians or mid-career or, quote, wiser physicians like myself. It's been a wonderful journey, and it's about the journey. It's about all the people along the way. And I've been, it's been very important to me to make sure that we pave that path for the people that follow us, and that integrity is ACP's middle name. That's something that will never change. And I just appreciate everything that all of you are doing to care for patients every day, plus all of this, all you're doing to make healthcare better. It starts with one idea. As you know, Chris Knight can tell you, and other former members of the Board of Governors can tell you, some of the best policies that ACP has published have come from that singular idea from a member in a chapter. That's how it begins. You're all advocates every day with every patient. And, so please keep pushing, and please keep doing what you're doing. And we need your voices. We're stronger together. Times are very challenging, but I know that we can work together to get to the other side for the betterment of our patients and communities and our members and organizations. So thank you so very much for this honor.
Thank you, Darilyn. And I want to hand it over to Anant. Anant has been a backbone of the ACP chapter for so many years. And Anant, please introduce yourself and please go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Chopra. And it my privilege to be here today and to help participate. So I am fortunate to serve as treasurer of our chapter and am also an outpatient internist and have been very fortunate to work with our chapter, particularly along the lines of medical education and work with our residents and medical students along their kind of pursuit of different scholarly projects, which as someone who's obviously very passionate about medical education, Dr. Moyer, I think really an inspiration to me and someone really to admire the career path that you followed. Uh, I Anita gave a wonderful introduction, and I'm just going to say a couple very brief words about your background, which is, again, your CV is exhaustive, and you have done so many wonderful things in your career. You have a long record of service, of course, with ACP, being a fellow since 1995, and of course, serving as a governor of the Pennsylvania Southeastern chapter, and then, of course, chair of the Board of Governors and served on the Board of Regents. And of course, you were the first woman to be elected or to serve as the CEO and executive VP. And of course, we're also elected for the role of president. And as CEO, for those who don't know, Dr. Moyer is kind of one of the primary people carrying and has the responsibility to help implement the college's policies and activities. As Anita alluded to, you have been a champion for equity and inclusivity in medicine. You're a founding board member of the Gender Equity in Academic Medicine and Science Alliance and a member of the Women of Impact group, very impressively. And of course, you've won many awards and recognitions, but of note, a recipient of the American Medical Women's Association's Elizabeth Blackwell Award. Again, a testament to the role that you've had in championing equity and inclusivity. Of course, Dr. Moyer trained at Temple, where you were chief resident, and completed an infectious disease fellowship at Harvard UCLA. And as Anita alluded to, you have had a wide range of scholarly interests, including medical education, which is near and dear to my heart as well, but also gender equity, patient safety, and high-value care. And not surprisingly, you're very well published and have presented at numerous national and international conferences and meetings. And of course, have had your clinical and faculty roles at Temple University. I want to conclude with saying we're very fortunate to have Dr. Moyer with us today, and we have several of our members who would like to share just a couple of words with you. So if I could call on our most recent past governor, Dr. Knight.
Thanks, Nath. Darilyn, you and I have had a lovely 4 years together, and I am not going to go on at any great length. In fact, Ananth just said far more of your CV than I actually knew. You were always just the boss. But I will say that I find it to be a most fortuitous coincidence that you have landed in my class of governors. For those of you who aren't familiar, the Board of Governors, it being a 4-year term, we organize ourselves like a
Chris,
you're
you're on
muted.
mute. Oh, there you
Did
go.
I hit mute by accident?
I think so.
I don't know how much of that you heard, but I am officially done. And by a fortuitous coincidence, Darilyn is finishing at almost the same time, so has been invited to join with my co-governors in some of our shenanigans. But I will say that you already said what I admire most about you, which is that you are the touchstone for integrity for the college. And I really appreciate that. These have been incredibly trying times for the past 4 years and even before that. So to see you standing up for what is right, even in the face of really tough headwinds, has been, I think, just a model for us all and a model for leadership for someone who is in a leadership role in a much smaller organization, that being a chapter. So thank you for that.
Well, thanks so very much, Chris. It's been wonderful to get to know you during your governorship. You've done amazing things. Of course, you've served on the executive committee of the Board of Governors and many other leadership roles within the Board of Governors. And I thank you for that. And I thank all of you for everything that you are doing. It's a team, right? We all support each other. It's a big team effort. We have an amazing village at ACP, and I just feel so lucky every day to be supported and to be standing alongside of so many other passionate, bright, caring citizens of humanity who are also physicians. So thanks so very much.
Those are very powerful words, Dr. Moyer. I want to, we have a couple more members who would like to say a couple words. So I'd like to next call on our current governor, Dr. Wheeler.
Thank you. So, Darilyn, I've had the opportunity, especially to listen to you over the last year, as I have been in transition, and I just have such respect for, you're such an inspiration. And I think about the last 10 years and, what a challenge medicine has faced with the COVID pandemic and then with the dismantling of infrastructure. And I just think about with your background and your expertise in infectious disease, how you were such the right person for the right time and just kind of led us, kind of stabilize the ship of ACP as we were going along. And I think there are a few things that I'll especially remember you for and especially appreciate. Certainly your attention to physician burnout and well-being and focusing on policies, not only helping the college develop new support for physicians, but also working on the paperwork burden and the things that really impact physicians on a day-to-day. I think that is such a big impact. And I also think about your focus on communication and misinformation and you really have led by example about as physicians with experience we really have to stand up and speak our truth and be that voice of expertise, and I think you've just lived that example. And then really I think your advocacy has been inspiring, like under your leadership the ACP has really kind of stepped into that need for advocacy because that really changes the experience of patients and physicians on a day-to-day basis. So I think that has been one of the powerful legacies that you leave behind. And I just really appreciate, join my voice with all the others who just really say thank you for what you've done and the inspiration and the legacy that you leave. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that. I mean, I get to channel a lot of people who came before me. And, people that I think about as I have some very tough conversations at times with folks are people like Faith Fitzgerald, who always led with curiosity, always, looking at the other person as a human, and figuring out where the common ground is around shared values. Because I think we've really gotten into these really polarized lexicons and finger pointing. And I think that you can have a conversation with anyone if you actually talk about and drill down on shared values. And I think that that's an important message as we move forward and we try to rebuild the trust in the scientific process and health and healthcare. Luckily, we still know that people that have longitudinal relationships with their practitioners trust them. They don't trust a lot of the public health officials and agencies, and that's from both sides, right? That's from all across the political spectrum. And something that someone asked me at the Pennsylvania delegation last week when we were in Leadership Day was, why is ACP quote so political? And I said, I really wish. I mean, I love doing advocacy. I love coming to DC and going to Capitol Hill and doing our visits and talking to folks. And turns out I had personal connections with both Senator Kane and Senator Blunt Rochester, who we got to spend a little bit of time with on Tuesday night. And I say ACP is not a political organization. It's only because healthcare has been politicized in our country that we need to lean in and engage in order to successfully advocate for our patients, our communities, our practitioners, and our policies. So I think that's as we move forward and we have these really crucial conversations with people, it's important to remind ourselves and to remind the people around us about that. So thank you for those very nice words, and thank you for all you're doing. I'll look forward to I read all the governor's newsletters. And so I'll be looking forward to continuing to read the Washington chapter newsletter and to see what you're all up to.
Wow, thank you for that call to finding common ground and recognizing that our role as physicians and as champions of our patients necessitates that, to be advocates for them. Um, we have a couple more speakers who would like to share some of their experiences and appreciation for you. I'd like to next open the floor to Dr. Sood, who has been a powerful advocate for medical education.
Thank you, Dr. Shenoy. When Dr. Chopra asked me to speak a few words, I didn't know what few was. So I'm going to try to sum it up, Darilyn, Dr. Moyer, through the lens of what ACP has done in the context of medical education, particularly a new institution within Washington State. So I'm an associate professor and the vice chair for internal medicine at Washington State University College of Medicine in Spokane, Washington. We just celebrated our 10th year anniversary
So
last
you
year.
work with my dear friend Dawn DeWitt.
I do. I do. I'm surprised Dr. Dewitt isn't here today, but I will send her your regards. ACP has been incredibly formative for me. I'm an international medical graduate and can attest that right from my first poster presentation on, by the way, bilateral ephedrine renal calculi, long, long time ago with the New York ACP chapter, as well as sort of being this is my daughter. It's her 8th birthday, so she'd like to
Oh my
also
goodness,
wish
happy
you well.
birthday.
Um, I I think the impact of ACP has been incredible. We are a relatively young MD program. We're at a land-grant university, and every day I'm reminded of our mission, which is to improve healthcare access across the state of Washington. ACP has been integral to supporting this mission. A few examples. ACP has been tremendous for our students as well as our residents. Our student interest group had the opportunity to learn from our Washington ACP chapter members.
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you. Could you
That
repeat
was Siri.
As well as through roles of advocacy, I'm sorry, I also got a new phone. Kavya, can you please leave me alone?
No, I cannot.
Okay. I'll keep this short, I think.
It's on the web for? No. Check it out.
I'll sum it up pretty quickly so Siri doesn't interrupt me. As a community-based medical school, I have been amazed at how ACP has afforded us with incredible mentors, sponsors, allies, not only for our faculty residents, but for our students and myself. I've also been incredibly impressed that during the pandemic, when the whole world shut down, we had the opportunity to connect with each other. The world became a smaller place, but we still felt like we belonged. I could go on and on, but I want to say one thing, Dr. Moyer.
Take that doll for as little as $1 on a big.
Kavya. Your impact on our world is immense. As a leader, it's sometimes hard to see the impact that you are making to work tirelessly for others. I hope you know that your vision has shaped the course of organizations across the country and the world. And I want to congratulate you on advancing to this next stage in your life.
Well, thank you so very much for those lovely remarks and happy birthday. Strong children become strong teens who become strong adults. So I have absolutely no problem with that. So, but yeah, that's, I mean, critically important that we use our voice strategically but powerfully and create coalitions and alliances and bring people along with us. And that's one thing. I mean, we just have just an amazing team, staff and our leadership, our governance, our chapter leaders, all of you, and working together. And for those of you who were at Leadership Day, I think you saw that in action. I think we may have broken the record for the number of attendees and the number of congressional visits that we did last week. But again, that really, we all synergize and that really builds. And I would urge all of you to make sure to reach out to people who are not members to get them to join us. I've just in the past week asked a couple of people to be reviewed for FACP. We know that, once people become fellows, it's very sticky and they get very engaged with the college. And to just keep doing what you're doing. The chapters are the heart and soul of the organization. And I know that, I recognize that being a former governor and being part of the Board of Governors. And we really try to facilitate and catalyze that. So thank you for your wonderful words and thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Dr. Moyer. We have one more speaker who would like to share their appreciation. So I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Mani, who will be our final speaker before we turn it back over to Dr. Chopra.
Okay, just wanted to add that it's an honor and privilege to be part of a great organization with excellent leadership and vision like yours, Darilyn. And the effects and the influence of ACP extends beyond the borders. I mean, this is such a welcoming organization covering so many varied topics. And for example, through this long COVID group, as a hospitalist, I learned a lot more about long COVID than I would have otherwise had a chance to learn about. And then I was able to help friends and families who have been going through long COVID and similar conditions, like in India, and some of my other colleagues who also have home countries, which are like resource limited settings. When they do not have the resources, ACP has been a valuable tool. The resources that they avail through ACP has been a valuable tool. And so we have a global influence, and that is through your leadership too. And I'm so very grateful for all that.
Well, you realize when we talk to our friends across the world, and we have a lot of internal medicine friends, that you are absolutely right. That the challenges and opportunities do not obey borders, just like our infectious pathogens clearly do not. And that is something where we can really synergize and work together. And ACP is very, very involved with a variety of internal medicine societies across the globe. In fact, Isaac Apole, who is our former president from a couple of years ago, MD, PhD, University of Kansas. He's from Kenya, is now on the executive committee for the International Society of Internal Medicine, and he'll be serving in that role for several years. And so ACP really does have a footprint worldwide. And our global forum this year, which was held during the internal medicine meeting in San Francisco, was actually on the impact of AI on clinical medicine and medical education. And it was fascinating because everyone represented there had the exact same questions, concerns, thoughts about opportunities as well as challenges. And so we are very much interconnected, and leveraging that and allying with others makes us stronger. So thank you so much for those wonderful words.